Hi everybody, this is Didi Vergados from InTheKnowRadio.com, and I am here today with Flavio Iammarino. Hi Flavio,
Hi.
Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming.
It's my pleasure being here. So I'm so excited being here and share my experiences, my knowledge with not only you but the viewers that will be able to watch this and maybe expecting that some of them will learn something that will be positive in order for them to allow some changes in their own personal life.
Well said, well said. So, Flavio Iammarino holds a PhD in behavioral science with a major in social work and clinical hypnosis. He's a published author, motivational speaker, and clinical counselor with more than 30 years of experience in the field of personal development and mental enhancement performance. He is world-renowned for his amazing ability to affect profound changes in people within an impressively short period of time. Over the past 10 years, Flavio has been working with Olympic caliber as well as professional athletes spanning from 3 continents. He has trained and instructed in martial arts for over 30 years, also involving Zen meditation techniques, and holds a 5th degree black belt in karate. Flavio's clinical counseling addresses a wide range of issues such as anxiety, depression, and post-traumatic stress, which are just a few of the areas he treats. His practice also encompasses corporate and educational seminars both in Canada and internationally. Most recently, Flavio has taught at Brock University to help students prepare for GMAT, providing strategies to eliminate fear of exams and techniques such as the 5 steps to success. Flavio has also co-written the book Make It Happen as a guide for choosing the right career path for high school and college students. Currently, Flavio is writing another book entitled The Book, The Power of Being Whole, in conjunction with the seminars that he's currently booking. So, Flavio, tell us your story. How did you get on this pathway to hypnosis and psychology and helping people?
Well, through my years of martial arts, always was interesting about the mind, how the mind works and the ability for the mind to learn and do so many wonderful things. But what it all came to, really what started me going to understand psychology and hypnosis, I think was probably 1978. Just before, I think in the fall 1978, I experienced a panic attack. Here, before that moment, I was invincible. That I could stand in front of a bulldozer and believe in knowing that I could handle it. But then all of a sudden, out of the blue, I experienced this panic attack. And I couldn't understand what I am. At one moment I'm invincible, the next moment here I'm mortal. That I had this fear, this panic, and from every direction. And this triggered something within me to begin the research. I needed to know and understand what makes someone being invincible and then be having this fear, this panic.
To the complete opposite, right?
Right. And so that's I began to research.
So you went from 2 polar extremes, one being completely invincible and then completely in fear.
Yes, I thought I was going to die. Something bad was going to happen to me. And so I began to research psychology, any modalities that could help me. I study NLP, I study hypnosis, I researched the best therapists in the world, how they did therapy. And actually one time I went to one session of therapy in the very beginning and explained what was happening, and the gentleman, he did the best he could. He began to explain to me that when you feel anxiety, there's a change in the brain. He showed me the brain with brain waves. In my head I said, well, I don't care about my brain waves. I only care about how I'm feeling. And so they didn't answer any question. So I continued the research and did all this learning and studying. And even when I was learning these things, there was a fear of trying these processes because of losing control. And eventually, one step at a time, and then I started this process, the other process, and began to understand and then making changes. And here I am today.
So what was it in the end that was driving the anxiety?
Well,
I know it's never just one thing.
Well, it was one thing. See,
it was?
Yeah, my father died very young with a heart attack. So between my mother and all the people around me says, oh, what's your heart? Well, not just my father, but his brothers, they all died young. And he was 52. And so they all died early, and so my mother and everybody says, oh, watch your heart, watch your heart. Here I'm exercising 5 days, 6 days a week. I'm in excellent shape because of the karate. Doesn't make any sense. But what happened, I was in Italy, and there I was drinking, a lot of coffee, espresso coffee, and sometimes you put a little sambuca in that makes it, tasty. But what happens is stimulated the heart. So when I came back, I went to the doctor, and he did a physical examination, and he says, well, everything is excellent, but you got an extra heartbeat. And a couple of days later, all out of the blue, this panic came in.
Right, because it all came together unconsciously.
That's
I'm going
right.
to die because everybody else did.
That's right, because of this extra heartbeat had to do with the heart.
But you didn't know that at the time.
But all
that
the
was
seeds,
all unconscious.
Yeah, all these seeds were planting at the unconscious mind.
Right.
And then all of a sudden I needed the last seed to fire it up, and then all of a sudden the panic came in.
And that's why you said, I think I'm going to die. I think I'm going to die.
There was fear of dying.
Interesting.
And that's how the process started. Like some people, they stay in fear. Me, I was driven by something within me that I need to find the answer. I needed to find the truth so that I could understand and then work it out. And ever since, I've been learning and growing and doing, and not on me, I work on me like every day. There's something comes up to me, I've learned how to even do it myself, because even I teach every client that comes in, I teach them how they can empower themselves with the processes, so that when they have a certain situation, they can actually do it themselves. Now, if something bigger they need an outside, they can always call me, and then we book an appointment and we'll do the extra work. But I teach them to empower themselves.
Right. So explain to our audience just what hypnosis is so they have a better understanding.
To me, hypnosis is having oneself or others to communicate and connect the three stuff together, which I believe we have the conscious self. Then we have the unconscious, subconscious, and then we have the spiritual self. And it's the ability to get into a state within oneself and connect and have these three elements come together, so that when they are together, there's no distraction from the external world. They can have, I call it powwow, they get together and let's figure out what the problem is and then resolve it.
So you help a person be aligned with all three parts working
all coming together. And I explained to them that, you see, we talk quite a bit about, but it's not really talked about. We talk about the gut feeling, intuitive feeling. People talk about it, but not really understanding where does it come from, not really understand what's the purpose. And when I say, well, do you ever had a gut feeling or intuitive feeling? He says, yes. I said, well, do you know where it comes from? 99% is, well, I don't. Well, I said, that comes from your higher self. That's from your spirit. You see, the component that our physical thought is strictly physical. Our unconscious, subconscious mind is partially spiritual. And the higher self is totally spiritual. And the conscious mind and the higher self don't communicate.
Okay.
They communicate through the unconscious mind.
Ah, okay.
So when we manifesting things, let's say we talk about manifesting, the conscious mind desires certain things because at the conscious level we feel things. We feel the pain, we feel the love, we feel the excitement, we feel the passion or the fear. We feel that at the conscious level. So when it's not about, let's say, in a relationship, it's not about making money, it's not about having a nice job, but it's everything we do or don't do is because either we want to have a feeling or we want to avoid the feeling.
So pain or pleasure.
Right. And most people don't understand that it's not about the job, but it's always about the feeling. The cause and effect. The effect of any cause is always the feeling.
Right.
Either is positive or is not positive.
Okay. And we're motivated in that way too. We're either motivated to get away from pain or towards pleasure.
The people that move towards pleasure, that means they always there's excitement, there's a passion moving. People them trying to move away from pain, they never experience pleasure. They never experience fun, they never experience peace because they're always trying to find something else to move away from. So when somebody comes to me and says, well, I don't want to feel angry anymore. Well, it says, well, I can help you in that way, but tell me, what do you want to feel like? So we change from moving away something to move towards something. So once they know they move, let's say they move towards happiness or they move towards peace, then I'll say, now I can help you. Says, okay, now what is the problem which been disconnected will allow you now to experience peace or experience happiness?
Right.
So we take them away from thinking and moving away from something towards an outcome.
Okay.
And the outcome
And that's
is positive.
important. And explain why that works in the brain for our audience, because there's something very specific in the brain that's triggered, is there not?
What triggers any feelings, anything, is it's what's stored in the unconscious mind, or subconscious mind. Others, there's a belief, or there's past memories. How I explain to the people that come and see me, whenever we make a decision at the conscious level, because all decisions are based on the conscious level, the moment it's made the decision, it goes to the unconscious mind. And the unconscious mind, so that we can understand what it does, takes this decision and all the content, could be negative, positive content, it puts a little black bag and stores it somewhere in our physiology. Could be in our chest, could be in the stomach, could be in the head, could be in whatever. And so what's happening, now let's say the person, certain things happened, they began to believe they're not good enough. They're not worthy enough because certain things happen. So certain events took place, and then after so many events, maybe 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, and then the person makes a decision, well, to believe they're not good enough, worthy enough. So the moment that decision is made, automatically goes at the unconscious, subconscious level, and it's stored there. So for whatever reason, this person decides now, says, you know what, I'm going to be at the nice car. I'm going to go for that job. So they begin to work, actually, to achieve this outcome. But when the unconscious mind says, what are you doing? You told me that you were not good enough. What are you doing? Trying to get all these things. So the unconscious mind says, no, listen, we can't have this. And so the unconscious mind, now there's a battle between the conscious and the unconscious.
Right, and that's often that conflict people are experiencing.
Right. That's the inner conflict. It's between the conscious desire and the unconscious belief.
Right.
The unconscious mind will always win. Always win. So, and will do something that the person will sabotage. Whatever they are doing. And so the unconscious mind says, see, you sabotage, says you lost, so it improves even more. You're not good enough.
Right. So it becomes a self-perpetuating belief.
Right. And so to resolve that situation, then I allow that person, with their permission, to go into this hypnotic state. For example, in hypnosis, the person is in rapport with the therapist. In self-hypnosis, the person is in rapport with themselves. In meditation, the person is in rapport with the higher being, which could be God or whoever they call, that's who in rapport with. It doesn't matter who you're in rapport with, but the state you achieve is the same. They understand? So it's about the state.
Right.
How do you get it there? It doesn't really matter.
Right.
But get into a state. So when you're in that state, then you're in line with your own self, the conscious, the higher self, and the unconscious mind, and so that changes can take place.
Right.
Now, my work I strictly work in a spiritual level, because without the spiritual component, it's very difficult to heal. It's very difficult to make changes. So to me, the spiritual component is a major component in making changes.
And how do you bring that spiritual component in?
Well, the spiritual component is our higher self. So I say to the client, have you had a gut feeling or intuitive feeling? They said yes. And I said, well, where does it come from? Do you know? I said, but they don't know. I said, well, let me tell you where it comes from. It says there's a part of who we are that we call this the higher self. And the higher self is the ability to heal the body. The higher self is the ability to come in and resolve and remove any negative things that are imprinted at the unconscious mind or subconscious mind.
Wow. So what that means is when you gain access to the higher self, you can change
communication.
Yeah.
That's right. And so I said, okay, now let's go inside, and I want you to pay attention to this. The higher self is an energy. It could be like a light, a vibration. And I said, pay attention to where the energy is. It could be above your head, and inside of you, to the outside of you. And when you connect to your energy, you will know intuitively that there is your higher self. And the higher self is about love, it's about peace. The higher self doesn't judge. The higher self is a connection to a higher intelligence.
And maybe even the collective consciousness?
That's right.
Okay.
And the higher self is only about truth. It's only about the positive. And the higher self is the ability to heal or remove any vexation of the soul, anything that's not.
So have you enhanced the communication with someone with their higher self and actually had a physical healing occur as a result?
As we see, what creates problem in the physical body is not emotions. When negative emotions or events are not stored in the physical body, we have to understand there's three types of pain. See, when people talk about pain, they only talk about the physical pain, and they go to the doctor. Well, my back hurts, my arm hurts, and they take medication. The pain is still there. Not understanding that there's three types of pain. There's a physical pain, means there's a physical injury. If someone gets hurt, it hurts. Now, physical pain comes and goes.
Okay.
And physical pain can be released by medication. If you take medication, you don't feel the pain. And if you rest your arm, the pain subsides. So the pain comes and goes. Some people suffer from emotional pain. Emotional pain means that there is no physical injury, but there's emotional trauma. Could have been a sexual abuse, could have been a verbal abuse. I call that, in certain cases, emotional murder. Emotional murder when someone is beat up emotionally, verbally, without physical. That's an emotional murder. And so when there's a person has a lot of unresolved issue, that all that energy is stored in the physical body, and then because there's fear and understanding, they don't resolve these issues. So the body, the unconscious mind, has to protect the body. So it creates pain. It says, hey, you're not listening to me when I bring these thoughts back because you're afraid. So it creates physical pain. But actually, it's emotional pain that comes out in a physical form. It could be, again, it could be in the back, it could be in the stomach, it could be whatever. Now, they take medication, but for emotional pain, there is no medication. It doesn't work. And the emotional pain will increase or decrease depending on the stress level. If the person is really stressed, then the pain will increase. When the stress subsides, then the pain subsides. Now, for emotional pain, there is no medication. But the good news is that once you deal with the issue, the emotional pain instantly is gone.
And that makes sense because when we talk with a lot of people with things, autoimmune diseases like MS, it always flares up during stress.
Yeah. And like I said, now there's another component that's called physical and emotional pain. Means it starts with the physical injury, but now there's emotional component. Now there could be fear because they may not get better. It could be anger, frustration, sadness, and hurt. So what's happening now that these emotions are in, then it makes the body tight. So even if this physical injury can never heal because of the stress.
Yeah, it makes sense because I know you work with a lot of professional athletes, and that's the one thing. If they get injured one time, their mind is so fixated on that, they'll actually not fully put their foot on the ground during basketball or something like that because all the emotions are then around it, and it's very limiting in their career, isn't it?
Yeah, and so what we do, we acknowledge that the injury is there, and then they go through their own protocol of physiotherapy. But we remove all doubts that in their mind, we create an image that the body will recreate itself accordingly to our image we have in our body.
Okay.
For instance, if they see that the injury still there, then always will protect it. But if they see, yes, the injury is there, but I'm doing all the protocols to fix it, then I see my knee it's perfectly normal, then they'll behave in a normal way.
That makes total sense.
So let me give you an example. In 2004, I was diagnosed with colon cancer. Okay. There was no fear. It's just something that's there. And the cancer was caused by anger because I was going through a period of time, different businesses. You develop a lot of anger. That's what they. But the long story short is that yes, there was a surgery, but there was not only the physical surgery, but I had to do an emotional, mind surgery. What I had to do, because when the doctor explains to a person about certain cancers and things, also there's an imprint in the brain.
Sure. It's like a thought virus.
That's right. And so I had to go into my brain, look at the place where the location of the image was my representation of the colon cancer.
And what did you find when you looked in there?
What I saw, it was like a pipe with a block in it. So I said, oh, this is just like a plumber.
Right.
Just like a plumber, there's a block in the pipe. So I went in with my imagination, I saw myself cut that piece, then took it out and reconnected. And then now I see the colon completely straight and clear.
Right.
And so what happens, you have to remove also the image which you have created of that injury. Because if the person doesn't, then the body will recreate itself in that image that our unconscious mind
That
holds.
they're holding unconsciously.
That's right.
Wow, that is so fascinating.
So we have to also remove, like somebody says, comes from weight loss. I don't do weight loss. Mm-hmm. Right? It's because in losing predetermines finding.
Right.
So in finding there is no change. Mm-hmm. So we talk about restructuring the body. So you want to restructure, you want to change it in whatever form that's healthy and is good. So we look for what image do you see themselves at the present moment. And if the images, let's say they see themselves excessive weight or bigger than what they are, because every single cell is a brain, so it picks up the image of the
and creates it.
and creates that.
Or keeps it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we have to go in and change the image of oneself and then put a new one, that the way they want to look like, and then the body begins to naturally.
So basically our bodies listen to what are the images and the beliefs that our mind is creating.
That's right.
But the problem is sometimes we don't know. Like much like you had to go in and say, what representation am I making of this?
Well, we do know, but most people, I would say the majority of people, when they speak, they don't listen to themselves when they talk. Mm-hmm. They just go blah, 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 blah. And I say to some of the clients, if I talk like that, I'd be scared. I'd be terrified.
Right.
Because some of the things they say, it's like almost like a recording to push the button and these people, blah, blah. So you need to listen at the conscious level what you are saying.
Because you're expressing.
That's right. But they're not listening.
Right.
They're just speaking. And I said, you need to listen. And so when I'm working, I'm listening. Mm-hmm. I listen to their beliefs. I'm listening to their values. I'm listening to what they're saying. And so the moment there's something, I'm able to pick it up because I'm listening both conscious and unconscious. Mm-hmm. Both are present in for me to do the work. And so once I pick that up, and then I say, okay, let's talk about this belief. And then explain how these elements work together.
Interesting. So I know that 70% of physicians' office visits are due to anxiety, and plus you've been through it yourself. So how do you help people realize what's bringing on the anxiety?
See, anxiety is a label. Say to me, if somebody comes and says, I feel anxious. Oh, that's nice. I can't help you. Can't help you. I said, well, what is the emotions? What do you feel when you think you're anxious? Well, what do you mean? Well, when do you feel fear, nervousness, worry? What are the emotions you feel? Once you know what the emotion, I can help you with the emotions.
Sure.
See the difference now. So I break it down. Oh, that's quite interesting. Because then they know, well, when I'm feeling anxious, what am I really feeling? Because if you feel anxious, then means that your thought, you're thinking of something bad's going to happen. Or you see a traumatic event. So it's only a thought that causes the feeling. So then we go back and change it.
I totally understand.
Yeah.
I was going to say, but they haven't yet made the link that it's the thought bringing the feeling.
That's right. And always go back is always the thought. See,
so what do you tell someone who believes that they can't change those thoughts?
Well, see, again, it's a belief system. It's like, let's say, for a veteran or somebody comes in, they've been to therapy for 20 years. And they're skeptical. Says, well, who are you that you can tell me they can help me? I says, well, I can. But it's up to you. If you're going to change or not, it's your belief system that actually allows you to heal or not. If two people can have a similar disease, and the one that heals and the one that doesn't keeps on going, there's only one thing between the two, is their belief system.
Sure.
One believes they can, the other one they can't.
Right.
And I say to them, now, let's presuppose, okay? Or I say, well, can we suspend the belief long enough that you listen to me and we go through a conversation, because if you have the belief, then you're not going to hear what I'm saying. You're not going to make any connection. But if we could suspend your belief long enough that you allow that part to stay inside and you allow to take this information, then without judgment, then you can have a better idea and say, maybe it kind of makes sense to me.
So they're more open
That's
to
right.
changing their belief.
Right. So the first thing, like in post-traumatic stress, I look at the belief systems. Do you believe that you can heal, or you believe that you can make changes? If they say don't, then I have to do two things. One of two things. Either suspend the belief system for a moment, then I do something that's quite easy and fast that they can see the change happen instantly. Because as we change the thought, our physical body changes instantly. It doesn't take 6 months, it changes. See, our thought affects the body instantly. At the same time, actually, we have the thought, the body will feel it. And 4 different things happen with our thoughts. The cause and effect model, that the moment we have a thought, we have a feeling. Either negative feeling or positive feeling. Means a thought can bring a happy feeling, a loving feeling, a passionate feeling, or a thought can bring a bad feeling. Bad does not exist.
Or fear, a fearful feeling?
Yeah, right. Bad does not exist. Okay, if somebody feels bad, that means there's an absence of feeling good.
Okay.
Everything's an absence of.
Okay.
There's no poverty. There's only an absence of money. There's no sickness. There's only an absence of health. There's no darkness. There's only an absence of light. So everything is an absence of. Because people understand it's bad. So if they feel bad, it means there's anger, frustration, fear.
But the way you're saying it, it's like, oh, if I only have an absence, why don't I just bring that in?
That's right. And that's
so
absolutely right.
So the way your languaging is very good
That's
around
right.
that.
So if you says, well, I am sad, well, sad creates negative feeling because
it's just an absence
something
of
is missing.
happiness.
Right. So if there's an absence of happiness, well, was it times in your life that you were happy? Yeah. Okay, what were you doing? Well, I was doing exercise. Well, great. I was getting my hair done. I was doing massage. I was doing bubble bath. Great. So now you know what makes you happy. And every day you put 1 or 2 things that make you happy, then every day you look forward, you will be happy. So everything is an absence of. So it's quite easy to shift.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Because the moment you say, well, they feel bad, oh my God, then all these things, whatever bad is connected in their own unconscious, subconscious, and all these things, feelings come up.
So I also know you happen to specialize in trauma. So how do you, what happens to a person, let's say if they don't do anything, if they've been traumatized like a veteran, having gone to war? I was telling you about a friend I had, and he hasn't addressed the trauma.
Well, because they're afraid.
Sure.
There's fear that what they think they're going to find. And the kind of work that I do actually is done in such a way that it's painless. It's like we'll do things in a dissociated manner, means that they're able to see what happened but not experience it. And so they can learn from it and understand it. Because when they talk about the event, they remain connected. And so now they still continue being part of the experience.
And being traumatized.
And the traumatized just increases its strength.
It's like they're reinforcing it every time they visit it, fully associated.
Yeah, and so I don't do talk therapy.
Sure.
Talking therapy, I don't do it. A lot of people do it, and I'm okay with that because that's what they know, what they do, and I don't judge. They can do whatever they want, but to me, talking therapy doesn't work. For me.
Okay, so if a person's traumatized and they're afraid that they're going to enter back into that, that's why they're resisting. But if you keep them disassociated, how does the hypnosis or the therapy work when you keep them disassociated?
But remember that hypnosis is just to me, okay, what I'm stating is part of my own experiences.
Sure.
To me, is to bring the person in a state where there's no external interference, where the conscious, the unconscious, the higher self can come together and look at the situation.
Okay.
And once we become into this state, then it's easy because all the answers we're looking for, they're not up there. They're always inside of us.
Right.
The understanding, when the pain goes away, when we understood what the...
So when we absorb the lessons from the pain, is that what you mean? So say more about that.
Right. You see, a lot of people are trying to take somebody else's pain away.
Okay.
The moment you're trying to take somebody else's pain away, you're taking the lessons away from them. So whatever pain you're trying to take away from them, it will go to you. Because they will reject what you have to say. They will say, well, who asked you? And say, well, here, I'm trying to help you.
That's why I guess friends and family, they give good advice, but the person doesn't listen.
Mind their own business.
Right.
I have an article, and the article states, mind your own business.
Because that person hasn't yet learned from that experience, and then I guess the unconscious is in fear of them creating it again if they don't learn from it.
For whatever reason there is, they're not ready. They're not ready. So mind your own business, but we have, I have to protect them, I have to take the pain because we believe in the sacrificial love.
Yeah.
To me, if you sacrifice, it's not love, it's pain. That's my own personal thing. So what's really happening, the moment you're trying to take the pain away from someone, you take the lessons away from them. And so to me, it's a universal law that the pain will go to the person that take the pain away, because they're taking the lessons away.
Okay.
So when the person comes to me and says, well, take my pain away, so I can't take your pain away, but I can show you through a simple process is how you can take your own pain away, because they can only go away when you have learned something. The pain away can only go away when we have learned our lesson.
Okay, and that makes sense, because a child who touches a hot stove quickly gets burned and learns not to touch it again. So if they don't take that lesson, then they're going to continue touching the hot stove.
Right, then there's something wrong.
Right. So that's our unconscious's way of saying, when you learn hot stove means burn.
Right. The process goes into, the learning goes into the subconscious, unconscious mind. So whenever the person trying to put the hand there, the unconscious mind says, whoa, hold on.
What are you doing? Yeah.
And brings back the experience. That's right. But also they could be in a positive way, but also the learning could be in a negative way.
Okay.
And so either way, the unconscious mind brings it out.
So tell us about how it can be a negative way.
Well, a belief system that you're not good enough or worthy enough. A belief system that speaking out your piece
means you might,
you might hurt someone, or you might embarrass someone or yourself. I had a young lady this morning. She wants to be a doctor. She flew back from St. Vincent because she's going to school there. And she developed cancer in her throat and thyroid. So I says, let me ask a question. I said, do you have a problem speaking your piece? What do you mean? I says, well, you have a problem saying
what you feel.
What you feel. She goes, yeah. I said, well, even now, like something comes up, then it gets to my throat, gets stuck, and then it goes back down. I says, well, there's a correlation.
Sure.
Not be able to voice
You're
things
manifesting
out.
it.
That's right.
Right. Unconsciously.
Right. It's not even consciously.
No, because nobody wants to manifest cancer consciously.
No, but it may or may not. But you have to go with presupposition that if there is, then we're going to clean it up.
Sure. Like your
That's
cooling pipe.
We want to eliminate all possibilities. And so we did work on that. We got rid of the decision all the time. She began to free. She began to touch her neck, and the pain that was there was no more pain.
Interesting.
Because it's
that whole mind-body connection is so fascinating.
The mind affects the body instantly. It's the moment we have the thought. 4 elements that happen. First, we have the feeling, either negative or positive. Second, the hypothalamus is in control of our feelings, metabolism, and is in control of the endocrine system. So the moment we have thoughts and the hypothalamus says, oh, happiness, the hypothalamus goes to the pituitary gland and says, hey, let your team produce chemicals that make the body feel good.
Right. Happy hormones.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when the thought changes to sadness, oh, the hypothalamus, sadness, oh, goes to the pituitary gland, hey, turn the switch off happiness, and turn the other switch, makes the person feel lethargic, feel down and weak.
Right.
So our thoughts not only affects the feelings we get, but also affects the chemicals we produce in our own physical body.
Right, because your body's just listening to your thoughts.
That's right.
Like if you're fearful, it's going to create adrenaline.
Well, what's happening, the hypothalamus says, well, fear goes to the pituitary gland, produces chemicals that gives the fight or flight feelings.
That's right. So your body's just responding to your thoughts.
Now, to go one step further, there's not element. It's manifesting.
Okay.
It's also what we manifest in our life, we create it. And what is created is by our thoughts. You see, remember when I said a little while ago that the things we want is the feeling, not the nice car, not the nice vacation, but is if you go on vacation now, you think about laying on the beach in the sun, it makes you feel a certain way and you feel good. So it's not about going to Cuba, it's not about laying on the sun, but it's the feeling
that you get, yeah.
So whatever feelings we are projecting, we attract situations, circumstances that when they come back allow us to feel that feeling. So we have to be very careful what we're projecting, because how I explain to people that when God created man, created also an energy. This energy that to give us exactly what we want. And so I say this energy, ask God, well, how do we know what these people want? Man says, well, whatever feeling man's projecting, you must give the feeling back. So that energy is able to manipulate situations, circumstances, that when these things happen, then the person feels whatever feelings that it comes out. So our thoughts not only affects the feelings we're feeling, not only the chemicals we're producing, but what we attract in our life.
And it's said like there's certain people who always have a black cloud over their head.
Well, they say that, and it's because they have unresolved issues. See, negative emotion.
But that's what I mean. They attract more darkness, more
that's right.
more dreariness, more.
Right, because that's they're projecting. And see, the darkness is fear. The darkness could be worry. The darkness could be nervousness. All negative emotions. And so, as you're projecting that energy, you will attract more of that energy.
Right, because
it's called the law of attraction.
Other people are going to resonate with that who are like you.
Right.
So
yeah, we all vibrate in different frequencies. There's low frequency, medium, and high frequency. So you will attract the same people that whatever frequency you project.
Yeah, whatever resonates with you is what you're going to.
That's right.
That's right.
If you have a low frequency, you will attract low frequency. If you have medium frequency, you attract medium frequency. If you have a high frequency, then you attract high frequency.
Right. Makes total sense. It's like attracts like.
That's right.
So what is the best way for individuals to create and maintain a healthy mindset?
Well, I always tell my clients that in order for anyone to make changes, they have to make actually 5 decisions.
Okay.
Decision number 1, they have to recognize within themselves that there is an issue.
Being aware.
Right. So, did they change? No. But they one step closer.
Yeah, because now they realize, it's like an alcoholic. I realize I'm an alcoholic.
Right. Right. So decision number 2, let's say now, I say to my client, let's say, as you recognize you had a problem, somebody brought you my name, says, hey, you better see Flavio. Okay, so you take my name and phone number. Did you change? No. But you could be one step closer. Decision number 3 was for you to make the call and book an appointment.
Take action.
Did you change? No, but you one step closer. Decision number 4 is to show up and have this conversation and to find out whether the root of the problem, which when disconnect will allow the problem to disappear. This presupposition, see how I'm giving the person, oh, wow, the unconscious mind says, oh, once we recognize this, we can clean it. Yeah. And so the person changed? No. The change comes in the decision number 5 when I say, okay, this is the proposing plan, we're going to do it. So are you going to allow yourself to go through this process so that you can make the change that you desire for? And if they say yes, that's when the change takes place. So when somebody says, well, I'm changed now without doing anything, they're just a temporary
fix
thing, but they're not changed because they really haven't gone through a process and understanding. And the change is actually quite easy and effortlessly. Like we can get rid of a lifetime worth of fear, maybe 5-6 minutes. You can change a belief system in maybe 8-9 minutes, if that much. So quite easy.
So you also talk about this blueprint that we're all born with, and how when we go back to that blueprint, we can really bring change.
Well, the blueprint is that in our higher self, there's a blueprint of perfect health.
Okay.
And if we tap and understand the higher self, we can ask the higher self to come in and assist us to heal the physical body. Because our physical body becomes sick through chemicals, through other means, but also through emotions. And so many times the higher self was not able to heal the body, or won't heal the body until we deal with all the issues.
That makes sense.
When
you get the learning.
That's right. Once you get all the learning and deal with the issues, then the higher self will assist in healing the physical body. So we have an energy, if you want to call it, it's part of us that's able to assist and create the healing in the physical and emotional, or both.
And that's, so we always have access to the blueprint. We just have to clean up all the stuff around it.
Yeah, and we're going to have the assistance of the higher self to do the cleanup. Because it's a simple process.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, Flavio, if there was anything that you would like to leave our audience with that you really believe it's important for them to know about possibilities or the power of their mind, what would that be? The
only thing I can say that you are really not the person that you think you are. At the moment that you are there now, it's just the you that's been made up of all these things that happen in your life, which none of them could be true, some could be false, some could be made up. Let me give you an example. When someone comes to me, they've been in an accident. Okay? Now, if we really break down the accident, let's say they got hit, the car got smashed, they feel a little bit pain. But in the process, when that happens, also the mind makes up a lot of things as well. They can see themselves dead, or they can see themselves paralyzed. So this imagination, the things they imagine, becomes part of the event, but it's not true. The event is just that, yes, the guy got hit, they got shooken away, so there's some physical pain through the emotion because the physical body is that way. So you must, first of all, have the belief, and you must always have faith, and believing that somewhere, somehow, there's always an answer. Somewhere, somehow, there is a cure. Somewhere, somehow, someone exists to help you. And it doesn't matter if you don't know it or what it is. Stop asking how. But have faith and believe that whatever you want, it will be there. And let, I would say, God's energy, or let whoever you believe in, that higher power, that they will become the how, and will send the how to assist you in getting better. But the key ingredient is, in any healing, and healing comes from within, doesn't come from an external source, is that to have faith within yourself, faith and believe that change is going to take place, faith and believe that you will be at peace, you will be happy, and you will be healthy. And as long as you maintain the faith, let go the how, and the how will just come to you and will assist you and make that happen.
It sounds like if you believe there's the possibility, you're not going to stop seeking it.
That's right.
Much like you did.
That's
until
right.
you find it.
Right.
And but you have to believe it's possible
that's
first.
Right. And that's the key ingredient, is that faith and belief. Because we've been since children through different religions to believe in God, but all people still live in fear. They believe that God can have to create this miracle, but they still have fear. So where's the really faith? There isn't much. But if you truly believe, then all fears go away. Because then you know, I don't know how am I going to do it. And see, we also been brought up.
But you're open.
Yeah, we always been brought up with the how. How am I going to do it? So
yeah, it's always on us. We don't let things come to us.
Right. Say the how. I'm your how at this moment. And if something I need, then how will appear to assist me in getting what I.
So recognize it.
That's right.
When the how comes in, recognize it.
And you have to know it. So,
but if you're not open, you're not going to see
right,
it, even though it's
there.
right in front of you.
That's right.
Right.
Everything we need is around us. Only when we recognize, when we consciously aware of what we want. The moment we consciously aware of what we want, all of a sudden we recognize it. Oh, there it is. There it is. But it's always around us.
Right. It's like when you set your mind to buy a new car or something.
That's right.
And then all of a sudden you start to see, billboards with cars on them.
That's
or
right.
you see, I have a client that she really wants that Mini Cooper, and she says, I saw 12 today. Yeah. I didn't know so many people had Mini Coopers. I said, neither did I, but I don't see them.
Right. You don't see it because it
doesn't interest me.
Well, it does not exist. When it's not in your conscious awareness, actually they don't exist. They're not there.
Right.
But the moment they become in your conscious awareness, all of a sudden now the filter is open.
Yeah, your brain is going to seek and scan the environment to find it. So
that's exactly right.
The bottom line is be open. Don't worry about the how.
Well,
and your mind will.
Let's reframe that. Be open and stay in faith.
Yeah, to the possibility.
That's right.
Have your faith that
that's right.
You don't need to know how it's going to come to you.
You just know it, and then you have to imagine that if you want healing, that you're already healed. So in manifest is not, well, I'm going to be healed. I will. No. In manifesting, we already create an image of being healed. And then the universal energy will send the resources that you need to assist the process. But you have to imagine that you're already healed. Like this young lady this morning, I said, she's going to be a doctor. No, I says, no, you already are a doctor. And everything that you learn just enhances who you really are. Do you understand the difference?
I do.
Yeah, I said you already are a doctor, but everything you're learning, you're just enhancing the excellence of being who the doctor you are.
Right. You're adding knowledge to being a doctor.
Right. Well, no, do you get more knowledge to be a more excellent doctor?
Yes, to be more. I understand.
That's right.
Thank you. Thank you for correcting me on that.
No, it's not a correction. It's just
reframing it in a way
that's right.
Yeah, I totally understand. Well, thank you so much,
You're
Flavio,
welcome.
for being here today.
It's my pleasure.
Thanks.